Okay, I know my legs are gonna feel numb because I don't have a tripod with me. Hi. I think a lot of you guys may have recognized me. Question mark. Alright, hi. So my name is Joanna Kristine and I moved to Japan. Japan is a very, very big country, maybe not compared to America, but it is indeed a big country, and you can't just say I moved to Japan. So the question is, where did I move to? But before we get into that, I'm just gonna introduce myself real quick. And if you haven't seen my face before, well, hello, nice to meet you. My name is Joanna Kristine, yes. And I am 22 now. As I film this, I turned
22
last month ish, about a month ago. That was way too extra, but welcome to my channel. If you've never been here before, if you've never seen me before, please subscribe, leave a like, comment down below, blah, blah, blah. I don't really have an audience, so just I shouldn't be really saying this. I will be talking about moving to Japan, fresh out of college, the steps I took, how I did it in this video. So if you're interested in moving to Japan, if you're interested in working in Japan, moving right after college, this is the video for you, and listen, and you might be able to learn something or take something away from this video. Well, when I came here, I was actually 21. So my birthday is in August 26th. When I moved here, it was July 6th. And so yeah, I moved here at pretty much the age of 21. And then I turned 22 about a month ago. So everyone keeps saying, whoa, wakai. Yeah, well, what do you want me to do about it? I am from New Jersey and I travel all the way to Hokkaido, Japan. So if you don't know where Hokkaido is, I say you should open up a map, but for all you lazy bums out there, here's a picture of it. It is in the north side of Japan, up top. And I moved from the east coast of America to the east coast of Hokkaido. So it's kind of like east to east. I don't know if that makes sense. If it makes sense to you, good. You understand. Now, I'm spending a year here. I am teaching English in Japan. My position is called ALT or AET, which is Assistant Language Teacher or Assistant English Teacher. A lot of you may know that that is a common job or occupation to take up when you move to Japan, which is teaching English. Of course, that is not your only solution, that is not your only choice. You can definitely apply for other jobs, but I'm not well researched on those other jobs because I myself wanted to teach English here, and not just here in Japan, but just abroad in general. So I did a lot of research into how to teach English abroad, and obviously Japan is one of those countries that is really popular to teach English in. So if you're interested in teaching English, then definitely do some research beforehand, but if you're not, then still do some research on what you want to do, because I can't really tell you besides English, some engineering and farming is what I could say if you want to live in Hokkaido. If you want to work in Tokyo, that's a whole nother situation, and Tokyo is a very common place for every foreigner to go to. So I don't blame you if you want to go to Tokyo, but circumstances that I was put in, I'm here in Hokkaido, so again, it's another situation, it's another prefecture, so I can only talk about my experience in Hokkaido. So if this is not what you're looking into exactly, I would still say to just listen in and maybe you can take a few tips from this. So I teach English to middle school and elementary school. Here that's shugako to shogako. So if you want to teach English in Japan, well, in Hokkaido it's very common for you to teach English in middle school and elementary school and also high school, but my program specifically doesn't let me go to high school. So just a disclaimer, this is not a JET program kind of review. This is another program, it's a direct hire. So the thing about teaching English in Japan, every prefecture has their own board of education. Hokkaido is a really big prefecture and there's only one, I think, I don't really know. There's one board of education for Hokkaido. Don't Don't quote me on that because that's from what I remember, from I hear. And they deal with all the other little towns around it. So for Kitami, we have our own BOE. If you go to the next town over, like in Abashiri, they have their own BOE and so on and so forth. So it's kind of simpler that way because I don't have to just refer to one BOE that's dealing with pretty much every other town. I have my own BOE and it's close to me, and if I have any problems I can just call them up. There's no like waiting in line or anything. But those who deal with the high school here, they have to refer to just that one BOE, and it's kind of stressful from what I hear. So that's just my take on it. But again, I don't have any experience with dealing with high school here, so I can't really tell you anything about it. I pretty much teach middle schoolers and elementary schoolers, so usually that's from grades 3 to grades 8 if you were to convert it to America. Can't really convert it because the age ranges are different, but grades 3 to grade 8, I would say. In elementary school, years 3 to 6, and then in middle school, it's years 1 to 3. So yeah, it's kind of confusing, right? So how I got the job was actually from universities. During my senior year of college, a lot of my professors and advisors were telling me to apply for jobs while I can because it's hard right after college. You kind of have that like waiting period. So I graduated in January, but the ceremony was in May and I really had to go. My family wanted me to go to my ceremony. After my ceremony, I actually left. So the 1 month of June, I was preparing everything, and then July, I flew out. May, graduation ceremony, June, preparation, July, flew out. So really, I had 1 month to get everything settled. I started applying for jobs or looking for jobs last year, 2018, in October. And then I heard back from pretty much all of them. It was a lot of negotiating because you had to figure out your visa, then you had to figure out your paperwork, you had to make sure everything was up to date.
You would have to make sure do they need your diploma? Do they need this? Do they need that?
It took a lot of time. So for everything to kind of be crammed into 1 month after my ceremony, it was really stressful, but I did it. I heard the job from my international office in my university. I talked to the GA at the time, and she told me to talk to one of the other people in the office because she's Japanese and she might have some job offers, or she might know of some job offers in Japan. So I talked to her, and then she recommended me this job here in Hokkaido. The town that I'm in is sister cities with the town that my university is in, so it would be great if a student from my university were to go here. Even though I wasn't from that town specifically, I was a town next over, they still considered me, oh, you're the girl from Elizabeth.
I'm not that girl from Elizabeth. I'm actually next to Elizabeth, but whatever, that's the small details.
Because of my connections and the people I know, I was able to get this job, and that's how I got here. My residence card says 1 year, so that's my visa. So I started working August 1st, but I came here July. So 1 month I was already not working, but I had my visa saying I was working.
Where am I living?
I'm not living in an apartment. I'm kind of living in a house. So this is teachers' housing. Not everyone gets to have teachers' housing. If you're lucky enough, there's a housing available. But I say it's a house because there's 2 floors. So the main floor and the upstairs. Yes, I pay rent, so that's why I say it's not really an apartment. It's kind of an apartment because I pay rent, I pay for gas, I pay for water, I pay for electricity, I pay for all of that on my own budget, my own paycheck. Rent is actually really cheap, so don't freak out if you're like,
oh my god, you're living in a house that must be more than an apartment.
I have coworkers who had an apartment when they first came here, and they pay more than what I pay now. And I don't really want to disclose how much I pay because I know it's really cheap and not everyone pays that amount. Like my coworkers, we don't pay the same amount because we all live in different kinds of housing. So I have one coworker who pays slightly more than I do, and he lives kind of close to me, but his house is newer, so that makes sense. My house is kind of old, and that's why the rent is so cheap. Like, there's actually a lot of things that's wrong with this house, but I will talk about that in another video because it's a whole nother situation, and that includes the house tours. How do I get to those schools while I drive? Simple as that. Hokkaido is not really an area where you can walk to those schools. Especially me, I kind of live downtown, which is like pretty much far from a lot of schools. Like there's one school that's like 5 minutes drive from me, so it would be like a 20-minute walk. In Tokyo, that's like a whole different thing because everything is closer, but in Hokkaido, everything is more spread out, so it's kind of different. Like same in New Jersey, like I can walk to those schools, but it'll take like maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending where you live. And I don't live in a really convenient area, so I definitely have to drive. I got my car, this is a shocker, I got it for $600. The previous ALT gave me his car. Well, didn't really give it to me, but for $600 it was handed down to me. We both did the documents and everything, so that was pretty quick. It took like about maybe 3 weeks for everything to finalize. That's how I get around. It's a 5-seater, so that's one thing. In Japan, their license plate have colors. Your license plate is white, it can seat up to 5 people, including the driver. But if your license plate is yellow, it can only seat up to 4 people. So my license plate is white, so I can seat up to 5 people, which is really great, but I just need to seat myself. You might be thinking, if you teach English in Japan, you should have like an English background, but they just want you to be a native speaker. You could actually not know what you're talking about and they'll believe you. Obviously, not every school is like that. For me, I have an English education background. That was what my degree was in, and I have a teaching certification, so it kind of helped me get this job because there were other people who applied for this position. Their background was different, so I would say what I graduated with helped me get this position. I know the JET program doesn't care about what your degree is in as long as you have a degree, so you could actually go to clown college. I wouldn't say you can go to clown college and get here, but definitely if you have a degree, you don't need an English background, but I think it just helps because you're going to be teaching these kids English. You should know some English. If you think about it, Japan, their English
kind of sucks.
Like, no offense if you're watching this and you're Japanese. Some of the English teachers here, they
don't speak English.
But it just boggles my mind because like,
how are you going to teach English and you don't speak English?
Salary wise, it's nothing compared to America right now. I think it's about the same. If like Japan is a bit lower. So if you are really like
money driven,
I think maybe try a different program. For me, what matters is teaching kids English because it's one of the important languages around the world. I want to change, make an impact, help the kids here learn English, help the adults here learn English because that is my reason for coming here. Like, if you're coming to Japan, I hope it's not for the reason like, oh, anime or manga or this character, that character. Like, that can definitely make want to go, but that shouldn't be one of the only reasons you go. A lot of foreigners that I've met are actually not really into anime and manga, but that's just me. Like, there's definitely some people who are into it, but yeah, I definitely want to share my experience with you guys and definitely talk about my time here because it's different from what I expected. I mean this like in education wise and also socially, I guess. I was expecting to be less lonely. No, but honestly, it's fine.
I'm fine. Everything is fine.
But no, like, I really enjoyed here. Definitely, if you're interested in applying abroad, working abroad, take the steps to do your research. That's like the #1 thing. I got everything from the resources in my university, and if that's not something that you can get because your university doesn't provide it, definitely talk to someone online. And if you have any questions, comment down below. I will reply to them because I have a lot of time on my hand, which is also another thing that this job provides you is time. Like, you have a lot of time to do stuff. If you have any questions about Japan and you would like me to answer them, I am your girl. I hope this video was insightful. I was blessed to have what I have, and I can say a lot of my coworkers feel the same way. They like the situation here. They like in Hokkaido, and Hokkaido's really beautiful. But I love nature and I love looking at it. If you like nature, definitely come here. It's so beautiful. I recommend it so much. If you have anything else would you like to talk about and you would like me to mention it in a video, just leave it down in a comment below and I will get to you. Please tune in for the next video. I will see you guys soon. My legs!